Talk with the GO MRI Man. Spread the knowledge. Motivate the people.
All right, what's up? It's Kwame, aka MRI Man. This is the MRI Man Podcast. We're back again with a crazy story. And I'm here with Gabby. She's back for another episode. So, crazy thing happened in MRI in case you're living under a rock. Insane accident happened up in California at the Redwood City Kaiser. Terrible accident, nearly fatal. We're going to talk about that today. Gabby, you want to do a little rundown on the story, what happened?
Yeah, so basically from the story that we read it in a few different places. So we trying to kind of get all of the information and kind of just gather all the details. But there isn't a lot of information. I feel like maybe, they just didn't want to release all the details yet or something. But so the MRI tech or the person in charge of the Zone 4 was not there. They weren't present. So the nurse, along with the tech aide, brought a gurney in that was not MRI safe, while the MRI gurney was outside of the room, apparently. And so they just wheeled the patient in, I guess, instead of transferring the patient over to the MRI gurney, they took the non-MRI gurney into the room, and it got pulled by the magnet, and the patient fell off, and the nurse was struck somehow. It doesn't say if she was pinned or what exactly happened to her, but they did say that she had some fractures in her femur and her pelvis.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what happened. To me, there's a couple things that are just makes no sense to me. The first thing is that it says that the MRI table was undocked and outside of the room. And then for whatever reason, they're like, hey, let's just bring this giant freaking hospital gurney into the MRI room. I don't understand that part. Who knows where the tech was? A lot of hospitals, and I know for sure this hospital, this Redwood City Kaiser, I know this is like a skeleton crew because I always see them trying to hire techs. So I bet you that they had that tech doing an x-ray or a CT. I really want to know what happened.
Right.
And what was this, tech aid, quote unquote? So you had the tech aid setting up the patients? Is that what was going on? Or even worse, did you have that tech aid scanning patients?
Mm-hmm, right.
So yeah, this is just looking really sketchy to me. And I know a lot of places are running like that, that they don't have qualified, certified MR techs, and they just have whoever up there pressing buttons. And
multimodality.
Yeah, this multimodality thing is not going to cut it. I do not let tech aides set up my patients. Tech aides shouldn't be alone in the room with the patient. This shows you why. This is serious matter. And I bet you that tech aide let the nurse get the best of them. And the nurse was probably like, that's fine. Bring him in. And the tech aide just bowed down to the nurse, didn't hold it down. Yeah. So those are the main things. And I know that nurse got messed up, man, bad.
Yeah.
I think they were pinned to the machine. Because if you think about it, how do you fracture your pelvis and your femur?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking she was in front of that table trying to push it or do something stupid, and she got smashed. And I was reading also that I guess the machine just kind of quenched after the impact or something. Yeah. But I don't know, what your initial thoughts of this?
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy that in 2023 it still happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's rare, but it's not as rare as it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
These accidents. I mean, there was just one a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
The guy that brought the gun in to the MRI scanner.
He died, yeah.
So I don't know. When I heard about this, I was just thinking like, where did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that it happened here, in California. That's crazy. And yeah, I mean, it just seems like these things should not be happening. And people are taking it really lightly. I feel like they think, oh, it's just a magnet. People don't really take it very seriously. And even employers too. I think they're responsible for training the nurses,
Yep.
the tech aide, like even some places, they might even have the patients watch a video that tells them the MRI safety and things to do, not to do when you go into your MRI, right? So yeah, there's a lot of issues definitely going on there, and some other issues too, with probably the management maybe, or if these techs aren't even with the hospital, they're just contracted travelers. That's another issue.
I'm thinking they're travelers, right? And also, did the nurse have a level 1 or level 2 MRI safety training to be inside the MRI room right there, like to be next to the magnet inside there, right. Zone 4. Like, I think anyone that is in Zone 4 has to have some kind of training. You can't, you literally just cannot walk in there. It doesn't make sense.
If you're an employee and you are bringing a patient in there, you have to have the training. Right.
And
unless you're coming in as a visitor, then, the person responsible has to screen that person. But.
And also the thing is too, is that a lot of stuff in like ACR, it's there's no law, right? There's no real federal law, right? There's a lot of things that are just suggestions, right?
Right.
Like the MRR safety officer, it's just a suggestion, right? We're not required to do that. So things are just going crazy everywhere. And I'm sure if they had an MRI safety officer there, this wouldn't have even happened. They would have all those nurses getting trained on MRI safety. This is like a no-brainer. And also, is there signs on the door?
Right.
Like all these things, man. How did they not know that? That's crazy. A freaking nurse didn't know that. They brought a whole freaking bed in there. That bed is clearly has electronics on it, metal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It wasn't like it was like, oh, I accidentally brought this wheelchair in. They brought the whole damn gurney in there.
Right, with the patient on it and everything.
Some of those gurneys have oxygen tanks on it too. Yeah. So I don't know, man. They got very lucky that no one was killed.
Right.
But I hope that California, they want to make laws for all this other stuff. Like, oh, the straws, you can't have straws. Like, what about this kind of like medical stuff, man? I mean, someone could have died. Like, how many people got to die before some changes, right?
Right.
That nurse is done. I don't think they're ever coming back. Who knows, man? I don't want to say I blame the tech because, look, they got us doing too many damn things at work. Our job is to keep that patient safe,
right,
and to hold that down over there.
Yeah.
And if you got multiple, maybe they have 2 machines. Maybe he was running another machine. They got 2 tech aides and 2 machines and 1 tech. Maybe he's running back and forth doing CT or MRI. And this is
just a problem. Yeah.
This is a goddamn problem, man. So it should be an eye opener, but it's not, because management will not change anything until something happens at the site, unfortunately, and then they're going to just try to blame the tech for everything.
Yeah.
So I want to see how this turns out. I mean,
I really hope they release more details.
And I posted this on my Instagram, a picture, and I just said, hey, if any of you guys know what happened, let me know. Within 5 minutes, someone posted, oh, this happened in Kaiser, Redwood City, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, if the tech that, this happened to, if you're watching, hit me up, man. Tell your side of the story. Or if you don't want to come on here, you can just anonymously call in, or anybody, with more information. Yeah. I'd love to know. Because if Kaiser is doing you guys dirty over there, I will expose them. I'll bring it to light. Let's freaking take them down.
And it's also important for everyone else to know, what happened. And that way it's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
We could all learn from that.
Yes.
And other nurses too. I feel like I don't know what kind of training nurses get for the MRI units and bringing patients in. And the tech aides too. I mean, who are they allowed to come in the room with?
And what kind of tech aide is this?
And does the tech have to be there when they bring someone in?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions, and it'd be good to know and share that with everyone. I mean,
Is it a licensed tech aid too? Because there's a new thing coming out where you can get licensed as a tech aid.
Really?
Because before you can just hire anybody. You can hire somebody from Starbucks and say, oh, you're a tech aid. Doesn't really work that way. So, but now you're going to be able to get a license as a tech aid. And I highly doubt this person did it because this is a newer thing. I highly doubt it. I bet you it's just some random person off the street. And yeah, man, that's why I think the ACR did recommend that to have 2 techs per scanner,
Right.
or at least another level 2 per scanner, like really trained.
Yeah.
So I doubt this person was trained at level 2. Hell no. There's no way.
No
It was
way.
some random person. Could have been it's probably somebody from the front desk.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, because if you're a level 2, you know.
You know. I mean, you don't let a
know.
bobby pin come in the room.
Yeah,
right?
you don't.
You're
Yeah.
like, what's in your pocket? You're like,
So-
oh, you have a badge. with,
Yes,
you know, the
yeah.
little metal clip. No, you have to take that off.
That's
you know?
why.
So
That's why. Also, be careful when they try to freaking bring you somebody and like, oh, we have Joe Smo from the front that's gonna help you facilitate and get patients. Oh, hell no, no freaking way. Because look, when
That
I go
too.
use the bathroom and I step out, they're still in there. They might let someone walk in. It's over. What now? What?
right.
So it's like, I think about this stuff, and look, it happens.
Yeah,
And
I think
they
that
think we're crazy.
yeah, I think that the MRI suite or the MRI department should be off limits to anyone that isn't the tech or above the tech, and that people who aren't at that level shouldn't be coming there if there's no tech there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then yesterday, let me tell you this, man. I'm just gonna say this. Look, a past job that I've had, a manager had some contractor with them, and I was like coming out of the MRI room, and they were like, "Hey, can they just go in there and take a look?" Really? So that just shows you that how important it is for MRI techs to be knowledgeable on this MRI safety and to just hold it down. That is your house, that is your fort. No one gets through without you saying it's okay. It's all you. It's all you at that point. There ain't nobody gonna know as much as you unless they're an MRI tech. Nobody's gonna be even close to knowing about what they can do. You know what I mean? They may try to run down on you on like changing a patient and this and that, but it gets much deeper than that. Just changing a patient.
It does.
There's implants, and it's so detailed on the implants. They don't even know. A lot of radiologists might not even know
I was going
either.
to say that too. Radiologists, you'd be surprised too. A lot
Yeah.
of them might not know.
Yeah. So, in that too, you're supposed to have a MRMD as well. MR medical director that's oversees MR, all the safety things, and comes around and like, how's it
Someone
going?
who does understand, right?
Yes.
They should understand.
Yep.
The full safety.
Yes.
In
and somebody,
every level, implants
too.
too, because who do you go to if you have an implant?
Who do you go to?
And,
right.
they don't have an implant card or anything like that. Any implant related questions.
Yeah. So I think that those kind of things should be laws where they should put that more on. There should be positions like that at every facility. You shouldn't put all these things on an MRI tech. Like, oh, it's your ultimate, you're liable for this and that. But yeah, every place should have an MRSO minimum, and you should be sending techs to go get that. That should be a law.
Yeah.
Because things are changing so much, man, and it's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
MR safety,
especially with the volume of patients.
of patients, and new implants coming out, and random stuff showing up in clothes.
A lot of traveling techs and nurses too, right? Nowadays.
Yeah, and who knows, like, and then, when I was working on a trailer, I showed up. No one told me there was no guidelines for MRI safety. There was nothing. It was just me. So I just had to use my knowledge of MR safety and bring it there. They were just totally like, they had no idea. Like, they would be like, oh, you can't scan this person. They have a fusion in their back. Like, what? Like, so it's like they didn't know what the hell's going on. So it's all up to me. All that, responsibilities weighing on the tech at that point. And maybe that's why some of these places will pay you more, because you have more responsibility,
Right.
more liability. I'm sure that tech in Redwood was getting paid very well. I've seen that those one of those places $4,000 a week. You show up and it's fucking chaotic and and just a lot of just dangerous. It seems like over there. I can only imagine all the other things they weren't doing right. I mean, I've been at hospitals where they send a patient that can barely breathe and with no nurse, and I'm like, this is unsafe.
Right.
Like, stuff like that. Like, it's just crazy, man. I don't know. Well, I don't know what else you want to say about this, but
I mean, there's a lot that goes into the safety, and who gets to bring the patient in, and who gives the okay to, like sometimes nurses will screen the patients or fill out the screening form for them, which, it's probably not a good idea. If a nurse is filling out the screening form for the patient and the patient is unconscious. And yeah, of course, I mean, I do agree that there do need to be different levels of personnel, like techs that are responsible for the MRI department, for sure. Especially higher training, someone who's in charge and someone who can make sure that everyone else is getting the right trainings, right?
Yeah.
Because that will be that person's responsibility. Like the MR safety officer will be responsible for making sure that everyone that comes into the MRI department knows the MRI safety.
Yeah. And I think that when things like this happen, as an MR safety officer, like if you are one or something, at this point, that's when you call a meeting for all the MRI techs and you just talk about it. Like, hey, like, let's get the nurses, like in a hospital, let's get the nurses all together, the ones that are doing radiology. Look at this is crazy, blah, 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 talk about it. And even when you're training them on MRI safety, you got to use these kind of pictures and show them.
Right.
Exactly. I still want to put up pictures like this at centers just to show patients like, hey, look, this is how strong it is.
How serious it is.
And then they'll be like, oh, we're going to change now. But you know what? The videos that we show at our center on loop, they're like 30-second videos.
Yeah.
Those help a lot because patients see that and they're like, oh, man. And they come in, they just keep checking themselves for metal. So that helps. Like if you guys, want to improve your MRI safety, I would say like an MRI safety video in the waiting area, just looping, because they're going to be waiting there anyway for like 10 minutes. They'll be able to watch that like at least 3 or 4 times. And they'll come in and some of them are like, oh, I got to take this off. So it helps.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I think it helps.
It does. So yeah, even that's important. Teaching the patients the safety.
Yeah,
right?
because if that patient was educated on it, they would have been like, hold on, isn't this whole freaking bed made out of metal?
Right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. What are you guys doing?
Which is kind of like what our patients ask us more nowadays, that they do have to watch that video.
Oh,
right?
yeah. They don't even want to bring in a key.
They look at, they come in the room. They're like, can I bring this, the locker key? Or they're like, but
what?
Why is there a walker in here?
Yep.
Or why is there a wheelchair in here? And we have to explain to them, like, well, there are MRI safe
different
materials
types of metal
that we keep inside the MRI room.
Oh, yeah. Down to their little metal on the shoelace. But yeah, so I think they got a lot of work to do over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a scary moment.
Yeah, seriously.
That I was like, wow, that's like the worst nightmare right there. And then another thing, like, what if that happened and the tech was pinned? Would the nurse know to hit that quench button?
Right.
So people need to know where that quench button is.
So I wonder what happened
too.
there. Did someone press the button, or it just did it by itself? It just quenched on its own?
I thought I heard somebody say that the impact caused it to quench. Luckily, so that probably saved the nurse.
Exactly. Unfortunately for her, and
that would have been the end of her.
Yeah, I mean, she still got hurt, but she survived, and now they're gonna learn their lesson. Also, because that scanner, right? That MRI scanner is, I don't know if it's if it can be brought back, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So
they probably got to replace a lot of parts.
They're going to have to replace it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully all the nurses and all the staff like learned something from that. I'm sure everybody at that hospital is aware.
Man.
Well, speaking about MRI safety and the zones, do you want to tell them?
Do you want to tell them?
Do you
Come
want to tell them something?
What? Oh, we have a new Zone 4 sticker coming out just because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Zone
Inspired
4.
us.
Yeah. So you can slap that baby anywhere, on your water bottle, on your folders, on the computer screen, on the doors, wherever. And people will be like, what's Zone 4? When you're in the break room, you'll be like,
It's a good teaching moment.
there you go.
Right.
There you go. So go ahead and you can buy that at the MRI Man Etsy store. Link is in the description. Yeah. Practice MRI safety. Spread the knowledge.
Be safe.
Be safe out there. And we are out. Like and subscribe. Bye. Thank you very much.